wrong. What if I told you that from here to here, it's 6,400 kilometers, but from here to here, which only looks like half the size, is 7,200. The continent of Africa has been shown smaller than it actually is. What if I told you that Greenland was only this size? Or Russia was this size? Or the US and Canada were much smaller? You know what? This is the real map. Look at Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They're much smaller now. Or Greenland is tiny. Maybe it wasn't practical, but it seems unfair towards Africa. Why haven't we been told this in school?
Names to make themselves sound more indigenous to the land, even though they're all from Europe. Benjamin Netanyahu is actually called Benjamin Mileikowski, and he traces his roots back to Philadelphia and Poland. Shimon Peres was born with the Polish name Szymon Persky, and his roots trace back to Poland. Bezalel Smotrich's surname is literally named after a town in Ukraine. Yair Lapid's father was literally called Tommy, and his DNA traces back to Hungary and Romania. That hobgoblin, Golda Meir's real birth name is Mabovich, and she was actually Ukrainian. David Ben-Gurion was actually born as David Grun, and he only adopted that name once he took on colonizing as his full-time job after he left. Surprise, surprise, Poland. Ehud Barak Hebraized his surname from Brog in 1972, and his family roots trace back to
that's going on. Now everything in life has to do with real estate. Everything is real estate. You're having an estate that's real. You see? So when you have this everything, you are a real estate. You are a property. You know? Okay? Your body is property, it's collateral. When you get injured or anything, or cause an injury, you have to compensation, you know. There's monetary damages, you know. Your body is a property.
Well organized, the 5 elements are in your system decides how firm and stable and organically strong this body is. It's just body is a play of 5 elements, so is the world, so is the universe. Everything is a play of 5 elements. In these 5, unless you want to explore mystical dimensions, you don't have to bother about the space. So there are only 4. Among the 4, 70% of your body is just water. Just shake and see, you're just a water bottle. You need to understand it is in sync with the planet. Approximately 72% of the planet is water. Yes, that is how life is evolved. Whichever the way the nature of the planet is manifested in your body is, so many different ways. So about 2/3 of the planet is water, 2/3 of the body is water. So when you eat food, you must always eat food where the water content in the food is about over 70%. This one thing the Western societies are ignoring and paying a huge price. Now everywhere it's becoming like that. If you eat any vegetable it will be over 70% water. If you eat a fruit it'll over 90% water. If you want cleansing to happen you must eat fruit. If you just want to maintain the body as it is, vegetable does this. Almost any Asian cooking usually has over 70% water naturally. That's how traditions created it, they were aware of it. It's only Western diets which are dry. You drink water, it doesn't work like that. The food should have over 70% water content. So 72% is water. Another 12% is earth. You know only 12% of your body is actually earth, largely it is water. So it's 84%. Another 6% is air. Air is the easiest thing to manage and take charge of, because there is breath, and you can take charge of it in a certain way. Another 4% is fire. Taking mastery over fire could do many things. You can light up a lamp by yourself every day in your room, and can see the difference by yourself. Don't let the life go by its wheels, take the mastery of it.
You know, you live in property. So you gotta understand that. And that brings me to what's going on in Palestine/Israel. See? Because, first of all, let's start from the beginning. The real Jews got kicked out of that area a long time ago, and they settled in East Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt. Now, these other people, converters and so forth, are now claiming Israel. But who knows if back then it was, see, this is what gets me confused, is that how is it, see, Elohim, you know, okay, so these Jews from the past got kicked out of Egypt, okay? Their God is Yahweh. Why would they name their new land Israel? Israel. That's three gods in one. That's the Trinity. Israel. Isis, Ra, Amin, Elohim. Those are Egyptian gods. So why would they name their country the name of an Egyptian god when their God told them you should bring no other god before me, you should not worship idols? So I'm confused. That's why it's hard for me to get into it. And I can't support the Palestinians because they'll turn me into a slave. They don't like blacks. They kicked the Jews that were there that were black out of there a long time ago. So they're Arabs, they're Muslims. They don't like they're like Hispanics, you know. You know, they don't like black people. So we identify ourselves as black, but back then they did not identify themselves as black. You know, I don't know what they identified themselves as. You know, before the Europeans came and started saying you're Ethiopian, you're Somalian, you're Sudanese. I don't know what names they called themselves, what tribe they called themselves. Okay, because first of all, the word Israel, you know, is suspicious. So, but what's really going on over there is commerce. That's what's really going on there is commerce. It's about the Suez Canal, okay? It's about the Bangoro Canal.
Providing a crucial shortcut for shipping between Europe and Asia. The construction of the canal was a massive engineering project that took over 10 years to complete and involved the efforts of tens of thousands of workers. The Suez Canal was officially opened in November 1869 with great fanfare and celebration. The canal was an instant success, reducing the journey between Europe and Asia by thousands of miles and providing a major economic boost to Egypt and other countries in the region. Today, the Suez Canal remains one of the most important waterways in the world, handling millions of tons of cargo each year and playing a critical role in global trade and transportation. The Suez Canal is presently worth a staggering $9.4 billion to Egypt. Building a new canal parallel to the Suez Canal would have a devastating impact on the Egyptian economy and its people. The origins of the Israeli canal date back to the mid-1800s, when the British considered the proposal of a canal to the Red Sea via the Dead Sea. In 1855, William Allen, an English naval officer and an explorer, proposed an alternative to the Suez Canal. His idea was that a canal that would connect the three water bodies, the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea, would be cheaper than the projected Suez Canal. The canal would connect the Mediterranean Sea with the Gulf of Aqaba and thus the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. The U.S. toyed with the idea of digging a canal opposite the Suez Canal in 1963. It was recommended as a response to the decision taken by the Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser to nationalize the Suez Canal in 1956. The controversial Israeli Canal was revealed to the world only in 1994 and was named after the first Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion. On April 2, 2021, Israel announced that work on the Ben Gurion Canal is expected to begin by June 2021. This new canal would cause a major financial threat to Egypt and its trade artery. But Israel says this route is good for the ships, which are unable to transit the Suez Canal due to restrictions on the size of the ship. If it goes ahead, this new canal will be 293 kilometers long, almost one-third longer than the 193 kilometers Suez Canal. It would cost an estimated $55 billion to construct. Whoever controls the canal will have enormous influence over the global supply routes for oil, grain, and shipping. Israel has projected an income of about $6 billion a year or more from the canal. This is in addition to the fact that Israel will have the largest artery connecting the Mediterranean with the Red Sea. The canal will also drastically reduce the possibility of a crisis in world trade, like the one seen during the Suez Canal blockage in 2021, when a cargo ship got stuck and caused the biggest traffic jam. Unlike the Suez Canal, the Ben Gurion Canal can handle ships going in both directions. This will be achieved by the creation of two canals. Unlike the Suez Canal, which is along the sandy shores, the Israeli canal will have rocky walls, which means that it scarcely requires maintenance. Israel plans to build small cities, hotels, restaurants, and nightclubs along the canal. Each proposed canal is about 50 meters in depth and about 200 meters in width. They will be 10 meters deeper than the Suez Canal. A ship with a length of 300 meters and a width of 110 meters, which is the largest size of ships in the world, will be able to pass through the canal. Like any other project, canals are built after extensive planning and survey. On the engineering side, man-made canals typically involve processes like dredging and excavation. Excavation is the process of digging out the earth and rock to create a channel for the water to flow through. Post-excavation, water is provided through external sources like reservoirs or streams. Dredging is often used to deepen and widen the canal. Dredging involves using a special machine called a dredger to remove sediment and debris from the bottom of the canal. This helps to keep the canal clear and navigable for ships. Depending on the terrain, locks and gates may be installed to control the water flow and maintain the water level in the canal. The Ben Gurion Canal construction will take about 5 years, involving about 300,000 engineers and technicians who will be recruited from around the world. The original plan involved 520 nuclear blasts to excavate more than 160 miles through Israel's Negev desert, instead of traditional methods. After construction, Israel will place spying devices in the depth of the canal, and will place monitoring devices at the heart of the canal. It will also erect the largest barrier that detects weapons, and will photograph each ship crossing the canal back or forth with a laser beam. Yet the real challenge lies in the fact that the canal wouldn't have the benefit of a pre-existing waterway to dredge, as the Suez did, or a basically flat landscape to cross, as the Suez does. It would be a much bigger job than the Suez was. But as a superpower of science and engineering, Israel has the resources and is fully capable of going ahead with this complex infrastructure project.
Is what's called the Suez Canal, and it accounts for about 12% of the world's GDP and about 5 to 10% of the world's oil distribution. Now, in 2022, Egypt made about $8 billion in transit fees from the Suez Canal. Not bad for Egypt, but you notice they sit well with the United States, France, the UK, and Israel. The other thing about the Suez Canal is that it's very narrow and it only goes one way. So for 6 hours a day, ships can only go this way, and then for another 6 hours a day, ships can only come back this way, which economically costs time and money. Then there was an incident back in 2021 where a ship actually jammed the Suez Canal, which cost about $10 billion a day. Not only that, but the United States Pentagon said that the Suez Canal traffic impacted U.S. military vessel movement, and you know they can't have that. So what was the alternative? It's called the Ben Gurion Canal Project, which plans to be made cutting through Israel as an alternative route to the Suez Canal, and also will be wider and deeper than the Suez Canal, which is important because the only way that trade can get from Asia to Western Europe is if it cuts through the Suez Canal. Otherwise, they would have to go all the way around Africa to get to this side of Europe. Now, guess where this Ben Gurion Canal Project is being built through? That's right, Gaza. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but you do the math.
Okay? It's about commerce, transportation of goods. Who can control these canals? Who can control them? Whoever controls them will get the earnings, will get the distribution, the revenue. They will get the rights to control that and charge a fee for every ship that comes through there, and also be able to pass laws and do trade and commerce and admiralty in pushing and also get in their way, you know? Say that I'm a country, I control the canal, and you're over there transporting your stuff, and I say, hey, if you don't do this and this, I'm not going to let your ships come through. You know what I mean? That's the power you have. You know, the other power you have is the power to charge a fee for coming through there. So, you know, and that's what they want those Palestinians out of there, is because they want control of that strip, that canal, and those people are getting in the way. That's what it's all about. It's all about commerce. You know, it's all about, that's what it's all about here too. So this is important because it's real estate. This is adverse possession. Adverse possession is when you take something by force, you know, and you have to hold it for 7 years. Then it becomes yours. You know, when somebody gets into your property and they're hoarding, they have to hoarder for 7 years. They have to receive mail. They have to show that they're a resident there. They have to make a notice, which they will file in the city. Or they can make a notice by their public appearance, going in and out of that property. Then they can claim that property within 7 years, or they go purchase the title and pay the taxes if the property was abandoned. So it all has to do with real estate, you know. That's what I'm talking about it. But with the politics and what's going on in there, I don't get involved in it because both sides, those are Western Europeans claiming to be Jews, and they're using an Egyptian god named Israel, and different Western European Ashkenazis. And the Palestinians, they're Muslims, they don't like black people, and that's not why I'm not supporting them. It's just that I don't think I got anything to do with them, you know, especially with people who don't like me. I mean, if you have to go to another country and your friend has to escort you everywhere so that you don't get killed, you know, if you go out of their sight, I mean, that's not a good place for you to go. And I don't know if you should be supporting people who don't support you, who only look at you as a slave. So, you know, why would you go support that, people like that? It's the same stuff with these illegal immigrants coming into California, like, and Chicago and New York, and we got these black Caribbean supporting these people, and these people hate you. It's in their book, in their Bible, it says black means Negros, which means sinner, which means your sins will never be forgiven. Even if you go to heaven, it says blacks cannot make it to heaven because their sins will never be forgiven. So that's what they preach in their book. I seen it with my own eyes, and I have it quoted. That's why I'm showing it to you right now. So, you know, and look how they treat black people. So they say we have AIDS. They say that we're not good workers. They don't know what's going on. They don't even know the Constitution or the history of this country. You know, they're just here to work for Zionists. You know, so I'm like, you know, if somebody doesn't like you, why would you support them? That's the question at hand. You know, so, but this is the United States federal government. This is their jurisdiction. They could do whatever they want to do. This is their people. So there's nothing I could do about it because I don't have no jurisdiction over it. You know, I only have a contract with the United States government due to my Social Security. And whatever they do, they do. And I'm just a contractor, you know. That's all I am, a contractor. So also, contracting with the city. Los Angeles passed the ADU, Additional Development Units. Now, it's been around for a minute now, but what's going on now is that the ADU, you know, Additional Development Unit, that's a unit that you could build in your backyard that fits a certain square perimeter, and you could have it in your backyard and you could rent it out due to short. The reason why they're pushing this is because of the shortness in living facilities for people and to prevent the homeless crisis.
Units that are on their property. But how will that work? Investigative reporter Hilda Gutierrez joins us now with some answers. Hilda.
Yes, ADUs are often converted garages or a separate small building behind a larger home. Under the new law, owners of those properties can sell detached or separate housing units, applying the same rules as selling a condo. For example, the main home in ADU will have 2 different property taxes and get separate utility bills for water, sewer, gas, and electricity. Each property might also have to form a homeowners association to assess dues to maintain shared space, such as a driveway, a pool, or a common roof. The State Housing Department reports that 1 in every 5 new housing units built in the state today is an ADU. Check out how many were just added to homes in the Bay Area or are in the process of being added. We looked up ADU applications by county and found Santa Clara had the most with over 2,200 ADU applications in 1 year, followed by Alameda and San Mateo County. San Francisco Assembly member Phil Ting, who drafted the legislation, says this will give more people home ownership opportunities.
This does a couple things. It increases the number of housing units throughout the state. Because ADUs are smaller and because you oftentimes share that property with another neighbor, they come a little bit cheaper. So they're cheaper to rent. They're also cheaper to purchase should they be sold.
Now, this is important. The new law allows local cities to allow the buying and selling of ADUs, so they have to opt in. Ting says ADUs are already being sold separately, sometimes for up to 30% of the entire home value in states like.
So now they're saying that your ADU can be claimed as a condo, a condominium, and have the same rights as a condominium, where you could charge a fee, a mortgage fee, and a HOA fee. And you could, on your tax returns, you could claim it as a personal property, private property, that is. And you could get entitled to it. So it's something else. I'm like, wow, you know, start building. If you got a backyard with some space, start building. Now, all the ADUs, they don't have to be big. They don't have to be like a house. I've seen a lot of them. You know, a lot of them been really small, and that's all you need. You know, as long as they have a living room, you could do studios. You know, where you just have everything out there in the open, a bed, a bedroom. You know, right there, the bed, the living room, kitchen, restroom, with a shower. You know, it's good. And if you could do more, go ahead. You know. If you could do more than that, just go right ahead and provide more. and then you can build multiple units. You know, now you can turn your whole backyard into a mini condominium. You know, so that's how it is right there. And who knows? Yeah, I'm right here in downtown LA. The Swamp now, he's working with them, he's rolling with them. He came back from the UK. Everybody's saying he looked different now. He's not the same person. So be careful. Monitor, watch out, see what's going on, because things are gonna get a little bit bad around here. Okay, just want you guys to know that, you know, because Trump doesn't look like he's standing with what he was standing with before. Okay, yeah, there's no homeless people on these streets no more. So you already know what happened. So you guys have a good day. Thanks for coming by, and we'll talk again.